Oh, and by the way, these book recommendations have a mix of tangible, actionable things that you can do to be more productive and to make more money, and also a bunch of different advice on how to do so. They have insights into what it's like to literally be a multi-millionaire, and we've also got a mix of story-based content, which is less of a guide and more of like the most incredible story of a business ever. Hi, how are you? My name is Joe. Lovely to see you, lovely to meet you. Right, we have got the most insane video planned, and what we're going to be doing is looking at the 6 must-read books for 2019. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship and I'm obsessed with business. That's why I'm very happy to announce that this video is sponsored. Jazzy got a sponsor! Sponsored by the Great Courses Plus, which is a subscription on-demand video learning service, and I'm going to be telling you all about that later on in the video. But first, coming in at number 6 is a book that's already made me a few £100s just from reading it, which is kind of odd to think about. The book is called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School by Mark McCormack. It's essentially a book about people, about networking, about being able to read emotions, about being able to behave properly in a situation, which can increase the likelihood of you getting a good deal or of you signing a new client. The most valuable part of this book for me is the section on emotion management. It's the idea that you need to completely leave emotions away from any business discussion, and that will significantly increase your chances of doing well. To be more specific, the idea here is to act rather than react. So when somebody says something to you, instead of quickly having an emotional response and saying something off the back of that response, what you want to do is literally allow that comment, allow whatever they said to kind of just pass through you, be emotionless to it, and think about it from a more logical and objective standpoint. I've been in a lot of situations now with my business where the price has been, for example, £1,000 a month on a 3-month contract, and people would say to me, okay, everything's good, but I want it for £500. What? Are you kidding me? It's crazy. If I were to naturally respond in an emotive way in those situations, it will not be a pretty sight. The second people start talking about money, people start kind of breathing faster, things get a bit awkward, people tend to look down. Having this at the forefront of your mind when you're in one of those tense situations teaches you, okay, whatever they say, they can tell me they want to buy this for half the price. They can tell me they want the entire thing for free. I'm going to keep the exact same face, maybe nod, that's it. Looking straight into the eyes. It's like keeping a poker face, essentially. In my mind, I'm going to be thinking about what they're saying and what my response will be. I'm going to take my own moment, act forward, and go from there. I'm telling you, this has literally saved me, or even made me hundreds of pounds already in a bunch of different negotiations, because I haven't responded directly, but rather I've thought of a really good, composed way of managing my breathing, of managing my facial expressions and everything like that, to actually be able to say, alright babes, it's not gonna happen. Here's what we can do. The subtle art of not giving a f***. Who the f*** is blowing this out? Okay, well it seems this is a PG podcast, so I'm not allowed to swear. We're all adults here. Anyway, if you are somebody that overthinks things, this book is a game changer. The most valuable concept in it for me was the idea of the negative feedback loop from hell, which is where you think about something and you think, oh God, when I spoke to Johnny, I said something which was so embarrassing. And then that thought becomes a source of anxiety and stress. And then from that stress, you start thinking about the fact that you're stressed and that you're anxious, which makes you even more anxious. And it's that endless vicious circle of a feedback loop, essentially, from hell. The way to change this, according to Mark Manson, is to literally not give a fuck. Okay, still doing that. According to Mark Manson, the key here is to acknowledge that you feel anxious or that you feel like you've said something stupid, and then forget about it. The second you can actually just say, you know what, I made myself look like an absolute idiot, it's happened, don't care, then you can literally short circuit that feedback loop, and I'm telling you factually, it works. It doesn't happen the first time, but I used to overthink everything. And now I just think, don't have the time for it, I've got more important things to think of. Now we're on to book 4, which is How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis. This guy made around £500 million by starting magazine publishing companies. Now, do not get put off by the title. It's a clickbait title. How to Get Rich is not a fun title for a book, but it sells. It does make it sound tacky, but I'm telling you, have my word for it, it's an amazing book. This gives you a genuine insight into what it's like to be a multi-millionaire, and it also shows you why you wouldn't want to be one. I'm just tuned in my head to want to start my own companies. That's all I want to do. And the idea that other people don't share that desire genuinely baffles me. I find it difficult to understand how somebody can want to work for somebody else, even as a manager, even as a CEO. This book does a great job in outlining the different types of personalities, the different types of people who are in the workplace and what their reasons for being there are. And it made it very clear to me that not everyone wants to start their own business, not everyone wants to stress of that. The thing I noticed about this book is something that a ton of business books do, in that he is selling the reader throughout the entire thing. For example, none of those people became really rich, yet you picked up this book. You're still curious, you're still hungry. Read on, my learned friend. It basically sucks up to the reader and says, you can do it, but only if you read on, and I tell you. I think this whole book is sobering in that it's a very raw, genuine insight into what it's like to make this money and to have this money. Now, number 3 is the fun part. What I want you to do is to pause this video, and I want you to be a part of it. So I've got here 5 books with me, and I want yours to be one of the recommendations. So pause me and go comment a business book that you like and that you would recommend as a must read. Now bear in mind, your comment is going to be seen by hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. So have a think about which one you're going to recommend and do comment. Also, all of these books are linked below. So if you want to make me 8% of each purchase richer, click those links and buy them on Amazon, and your boy will get a nice 8% cut. Yes! Yes! Yeah! Multiple streams of income! Back to business. Number 2, I cannot explain how much I'm obsessed with this book, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It is the story of Nike, and it reads like a genuine novel. It's like you're reading a fiction book. Before I read this book, I found it quite boring to read novels, but based on the way it's written, it's genuinely allowed me to actually move away from reading solely business books and like biographies and stuff like that to different fiction pieces. There are moments in this book where I literally put it down and I was like, are you kidding me? You see in all cool movies when they have like a mad business scene, when there's like hundreds of millions of pounds on the line and one person gets up and smashes his stuff on a table or whatever it is, you know, they're really dramatic. This has moments like that in the book, but it's legit, and it's about a real company that you know that you're probably wearing. Phil Knight also has a very clear leadership technique. Some people, some managers are just like, oh my god, it's amazing, good, thank you so much for doing that at everything you do, and that works for some people and some people like it. Others are literally just like, thanks, okay. Very rarely congratulate. He is one of these people, but it shows you how useful that kind of attitude and that kind of leadership technique can be, and that's something I've found quite interesting. I like praising people, I like being praised, but I also know that when I'm not praised and I know that I've done good work, I'm kind of just like, bro, where's my praise? But eventually when you're working with somebody and you do something really, really good and they say, good job, I'm just like, it's just like, it just feels that much better, and that's something that happens with Phil Knight, and being able to see how he manages people is just amazing. This came from his brain and it's so bloody useful, honestly. Honestly, I nearly cried in this book at the start because there was a part about the guy's mum and how she supported him. I'm not going to ruin it, I'm not going to say what it was. It wasn't huge, but it just shows how special and incredible it is when you start a business to have support from friends and family from the start. Oh, it's just such a good book. I've recommended it to so many people. I bought it for a couple of people as well. It's huge. And now a word to our sponsors. So as I mentioned, this video is very kindly sponsored by The Great Courses Plus. They are a subscription on-demand video learning service where you can essentially go onto the internet on your laptop or computer and find a huge database of courses and of lectures. They have top professors from Ivy League universities who run these courses, as well as people from the National Geographic and other cool fun places. When you join, you have unlimited access to over 11,000 video lectures. So whether it's maths, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's science or cooking, whatever it is you want to learn about from thought leaders in that space, you can do so with the Great Courses Plus. Yes! The course I'm on at the moment is called the Entrepreneur's Toolkit, and Lecture 6 is called Starting Your Business Plan. Starting a business plan for me is something I've actually never done. I've been running a business now for around a year and I still haven't got in place a solid business plan. To be completely honest, because I don't know how to do it. I don't consider myself particularly gifted when it comes to maths, and I feel like when you have a business plan you need to make like forecasts and projections. That kind of scares me. However, I now get the importance of having a business plan, and I'm also about to finish understanding the step-by-steps of creating a business plan and actually using it to your advantage throughout. Now if this sounds up your street, which I'm sure for most of you it does, they are offering a free course for everyone watching this video. All you need to do is go onto thegreatcoursesplus.com/JoeBinder, and I'll leave that link in the description, and sign up for a free trial. Click the link in the description to start your free trial today. I'm sorry, I know that was cheesy, but I've seen other YouTubers do it and it just seems good. Was that good? Number 1, this is a book that is going to give you tangible advice. It's actually going to help you move forward and become more productive. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. His entire argument is that to make meaningful change in your life, you don't have to suddenly become a better person and just stop smoking or start doing 3 hours of exercise every day or whatever it is. You don't need to start with a huge change in your lifestyle, because more often than not, that won't work. Instead, what you want to do is build incremental changes into your lifestyle that become habits and become natural to you, and then you can build on there. You increase by 1% every day and you'll find you are far more productive than trying to increase by 10% in one day and then failing a few days later. One thing I've always found difficult is not snoozing my alarm. Now that's not because I can't wake up in the morning, but I'm just so bloody convincing. Honestly, I will have my alarm set for 7:30 a.m. and I'll wake up and I'll think, you know what, 5 minutes won't hurt, 10 minutes back in bed. And then once I'm in bed, I'm just so convincing. I'm just like, it's so much warmer. It's just so nice and cozy, and I just don't leave. What this book teaches you to do is, even in small scenarios like that, is how to automate your behavior so that you don't even have to think about those things, you just do it. One of the things I've taken away is the idea of habit stacking. That's when you take habits, things that you already do every day without fail, and you embed a new behavior, something you want to do within that. I wake up every single morning. That's one. 2, I shower every single morning without fail. Those are 2 habits which always happen during my morning. Now what I've started doing is embedding a new behavior within those habits. So the night before, I put the towel just underneath my phone and fold a flap of my towel under my phone. So when I get to my phone in the morning and all I want to do is just go back to sleep, the first thing I see and feel is a towel. I was like, oh God, I need to shower. And then what I'm trying to do now is to immediately leave the room. Stop the alarm, take my towel, go have a shower. And even during that shower, sure, I'm hating my life, I'm hating myself. I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? The second I leave my house and I'm hit with a blast of fresh, cold, airy goodness, I'm just like, wow, I'm so glad that I actually woke up early. Like, I've got the whole day now. Look, it's still dark outside, everyone else is asleep, let's go kill it. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. Make sure to check me out on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever else you want as well. Grab these books if you want to grab them, but most importantly, please do leave a comment below recommending a book. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.